Within the music industry, there is a tendency for a rapper to explode really fast into the mainstream. Nevertheless, some who get a quick way up to the top can also have an immediate fall off. This concept could easily be seen throughout multiple meme rapper careers. Meme rappers are artists who blow up from the memes surrounding them rather than their own music. Although every meme rapper seems to have an insane movement within the rap scene, they all share one common trait, and that is they're not able to maintain their fan base, which could be depicted over the last couple of years where every meme rapper has completely fallen off. So join me today where we dive into what exactly happened to some of these meme rappers and explore where they are in the modern day. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Towards the end of 2020, Mario Judo is slowly gaining traction through his hit songs and viral moments, allowing himself to pave a way into the mainstream. Due to his likable nature, Mario was easily building connection with his fans, leading them to waiting for every new release to come from the artist. However, when Mario Judo was at the height of his career, he seemingly disappeared. But why is this the case, since Mario was building a big name for himself? Well, to answer that, we have to go back to early 2020 where Mario Judo went from being just a producer to also an artist. From being convinced by a friend of his, Mario started songwriting sometime in January 2020 and dropped his first official track titled Crush in June of that same year. It wasn't until a week later where Mario released a significant single that aided him in gaining a following. That song being Die Very Rough. Die Very Rough would attract a videographer from One Room Media named J Law, who is well known for discovering Pennsylvania rapper Little Skies. From here, J Law and Mario Judo were beginning to develop a strong relationship with each other, thus causing J Law to become Mario Judo's manager. He'd approximately take 25% of Mario's earnings, which was a good deal for Judo since he only had a couple hundred followers at the time. The two then went on to create the music video for Die Very Rough. Then the two were shocked when a tweet promoting the music video went viral on Twitter. The tweet started to become even more popular when people began fabricating memes surrounding the video, ultimately causing many to watch the original music video on YouTube, making it acquire over 40 million views. Following him receiving all this attention, Mario Judo started to be hit up by multiple record labels wanting to sign him. One of the deals that Mario was offered promised him to have a 100k advance, a 100k marketing budget, and 100k for a ski mask feature alongside a Cole Bennett music video and a performance at Rolling Loud. As great as the deal may sound, J Law rapidly found out that the label was lying about many of the perks they were offering Mario Judo. He also uncovered that the deal forced Mario to drop a few EPs and gain a portion of the revenue from all of Mario's music. So with taxes and having a 25% cut with his manager, as well as another cut with that label, Mario Judo would be earning little to no money from his songs. Which is why J Law would inform Judo to not take the deal and wait for a better deal to arise from another label. Mario originally obliged to J Law's acquisition, but instantly switched up on him the next day. This is because Mario secretly flew out to LA to sign the deal without J Law knowing, ultimately destroying the relationship he had with his manager because they never spoke again from this point on. After this, Mario Judo would quickly find out that he screwed himself over. See, he never received the ski mask feature and the Cole Bennett music video that he was promised. However, Mario did start to develop industry connections by being seen around Trippie Redd and actually getting to perform at Rolling Loud. In fact, it was at Rolling Loud where his infamous interview with Drewski took place. This interview spread like wildfire on the internet due to this viral moment.
When you say nigga, a lot of people are assuming that's gotta be racist. There's no way.
This clip only elevated Mario's career even higher, causing Philly rapper Lil Uzi Vert to co-sign Judo on Twitter, making it seem like his decision to betray his former manager was the right move. After all, at this point in Mario Judo's career, he was beginning to be publicized all over the internet. As well as being noticed by top rappers within the scene, it only drew more and more individuals towards Mario's music. Even though his label lied to him about getting a ski mask feature and appearing on Lyrical Lemonade, they still marketed him extremely well by pushing Mario to a vast audience. During this time, Mario's career seemed to only keep increasing with each public appearance. Around the same time, Atlanta rapper playboicarti was teasing his highly anticipated album, Whole Lotta Red. So, with his newly found hype and his love for Carti's music, Mario Judo went on Instagram Live threatening Carti to drop the album.
Drop Whole Lotta Red, bro! You have 1 week. If you don't drop it, I'm dropping it for you. Drop it before December 6th.
Obviously, Carti being Carti, the album was still nowhere near in sight at the time, which evidently led to Mario Judo teasing and releasing his first single off his version of Whole Lotta Red called Yeah. which got a music video that dropped on that same day. On the track, he was rapping on a Whole Lotta Red type beat in which fans noticed he produced. Alongside this, he would also write and engineer the song, overall causing many fans to realize that Mario Judah is extremely talented, making Carti fans to actually be hyped for Judah's version of Whole Lotta Red. To which, he dropped his Whole Lotta Red on December 12th, 2020, leading Carti fans to treat him as the next Playboy Carti. Even though fans were happy they received some version of the project, Playboy Carti's team weren't happy about the situation, since Carti's signed artist, Ken Carson, would tweet "fuck Mario Judah" during this time, and Carti's videographer, Joy Division, replied to Mario Judah's comment under one of Carti's posts by saying, "When I see you, I'ma fuck you up." Clearly, Carti and his camp felt some type of way of this random dude stealing their spotlight by biting the narcissist's style. But Carti would easily regain the spotlight once more by pulling through and dropping his own version of Whole Lotta Red on Christmas Day. This was extremely detrimental towards Mario Judah's career because all of the hype he was receiving from Carti fans went straight back to Carti. Not only that, as both Whole Lotta Reds aged over time, fans began looking at Judah's version as a cheap copy compared to the original. To make matters even worse, people only recognized Judah for making that type of music, so when it was time for him to return to his own sound, none of his fans actually stuck with him. In which, fellow YouTuber Bubblelam explained it best.
Then Mario Judah was like, "Oh, I'm dropping a Whole Lotta Red Deluxe for you." And so then the joke, it took over his whole brand. So when he pitched himself for the freshman, one of the top accolades that he had was Big Yeah and Whole Lotta Red. And the fact that somebody else's album is at the top accolades of your career, that's when you know you done fucked up.
Now, with his playful antics over and having his career be turned into a joke, it seemed like it was the beginning of the end for the rapper. Nevertheless, being the marketing genius he is, Mario Judah still had a trick up his sleeve in order to regain his clout. Attempting to rebuild his hype, Mario seemingly pulled up on his ex-girlfriend who cheated on him.
Oh God, that's not her, bro. Keep going, bro. Don't stop, bro. Keep going. Move, go. Oh, stop the car, bro. Stop the car. Hell no, bro. You fucking serious? This bitch right here. What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
If it wasn't apparent enough, this event seemed real and made Mario Judah fans turn on him even more. As an insult to injury, Mario would publicize how this whole altercation was a marketing stunt.
What happened the other night on my IG Live was acted out to show you what really happens, bro, when people are in fucked up relationships.
Although he was trying to portray a good message, the way he went about it was overall just weird and drove people away from his music. That's why when he dropped a song that was being promoted by this, called "I Cannot Love You," it didn't perform as well as he hoped. After this incident, Mario Judah evidently went into hiding and we didn't hear anything from him for a couple of months. During his disappearance, one of his tracks leaked called "I Miss the Rage," which many of you might notice is a remix to Trippie Redd's highly anticipated snippet at the time, titled "Miss the Rage." This leaking caused Judah's career to spike up once more since a lot of people loved his version, with one person claiming, "This dude is so talented, it makes the original sound like a knockoff." Due to the popularity of his "Miss the Rage," it caused numerous fans to believe that Mario Judah was going to appear on the official song. This speculation only grew more after Judah tweeted, "I'm Mr. Rage" and "Good Morning Ragers." On top of this, Trippie would even react to Judah's version of the song, supposedly confirming Mario's feature on it. Nonetheless, the official version of Mr. Rage dropped on May 7th, 2021 and only contained a Playboy Carti feature with Mario Judah being nowhere near in sight. Although this is unconfirmed and purely speculation, a possible reason for this is due to what I mentioned earlier on how Carti wasn't messing with Judah stealing his aura, making Carti tell Trippie to leave Judah off the track. But who knows if this is reality, since Trippie did state how Judah was never on the song to begin with.
Hey, Mario Judah is not on Mr. Rage. Stop saying that shit.
Regardless if Mario Judah was on Mr. Rage or not, this situation revived his career. But instead of capitalizing on it, Mario would continue to stay in hiding. He would only drop the song "Remember Your Name," which had little to no promotion and was accompanied by a music video, resulting in it not performing as well as his previous tracks, revealing that Mario Judah was slowly beginning to fade away into irrelevance throughout all of 2021. In which he can only blame himself, since Mario would soon realize that his decision to be a traitor to his old manager would soon come back to haunt him. This is because his new management was trash and prevented Mario from evolving his career. Judah would express how annoyed he was getting at his new management on an Instagram live.
I had this bitch ass manager that was fucking, man, I ain't even gonna get into that, bro. Let's just say he was on some bullshit.
Mario Judah's new manager clearly had a set path for his career in which Mario didn't want to follow. So in retaliation, Mario Judah decided to stay inactive and not drop any songs to not let his team alongside himself make any money from his music. This was the exact situation his old manager, J Law, was afraid of. Since Mario wasn't making any money, he decided to drop an NFT scam to aid himself financially, in which fans weren't completely mad at him for attempting to pull off a scam on them because it was obvious that Mario Judah was broke. Mario Judah actually went on a Discord call to further explain the scenario, but when he was speaking to his fans, it was evident that he had lost his desire to keep pursuing his passion for music.
I just want y'all to go crazy, I guess, you know. I just saw the NFT shit and I was like, fuck it, let me give it a try.
Unfortunately, Judah was met with label issues very early on into his career, making it easy for him to be left in the dust by the general public. After all, by this point, it only has been a year since Mario came into the scene and people already recognize Mario for his 15 seconds of fame. Maybe if Mario spoke out about his label issues like many other artists, things would have turned out differently for him. But who knows if this is the case, since Mario Judah is a smaller artist, it would have been harder for him to fight against a major label. Especially since his inactiveness gave the label more of a reason to shelve Mario Judah because he wasn't earning any revenue for them. Sadly, at this point within Mario Judah's career, it seemed like he was in a dark place. Starting off with a tweet in September 2022 where he's depicted comforting himself. Then Judah would stay off the internet for the rest of the year, and in September 2023, he'd return with a crazy new haircut telling everyone to get baptized and that the world was going to end. He'd also post himself staring at the screen with a loud instrumental playing in the background. This ultimately caused fans to believe that Mario Judah had completely lost it, causing many to ask what the fuck happened to Mario Judah. More recently, Mario Judah surprisingly dropped a 7-song album titled Endure in February 2024, which isn't pulling the best numbers. Which brings us to the present day where it's sad how Mario Judah's career went. This is because he's extremely talented and could have become another successful artist within the scene. The potential he had was unordinary and could have shaped the industry in a different way. Instead, he decided to take his hype and be disloyal to his ex-manager, copy another artist, create poor marketing stunts, and try to support himself financially in unethical ways, resulting in Mario Judah's career being completely non-existent in the modern day. His fans have completely driven away from him and gravitated towards other artists. He recently went on Instagram Live promoting his faith and appears to be doing better for himself, which is always good to see. Within the same Instagram Live, Mario Judah also previewed new music, potentially revealing that he's out of his horrible contract. So it's nice to see that Mario Judah is doing alright for himself, and hopefully he can rebuild his career to where it once was. Royce Rodriguez, or better known as Ugly God, has always gravitated towards music since he was in middle school. With one of his earlier tracks racking up 3.61 million plays on SoundCloud, two things became instantly clear: the potential he had and the type of career he wanted. However, he wasn't only a good artist, he was also a great marketer by posting videos of him putting lizards in his nose, which only brought more traction to his name. By this point, people were attracted towards Ugly God's natural comedic behavior. Whether it was through his music or his marketing stunts, Ugly God was slowly building a name for himself. But soon, Ugly God was going to meet his fate that he was destined for. The year is 2016, and Ugly God was making severe moves within the music industry, as on March 16th, 2016, he dropped his hit track, Water, which catapulted his career into the mainstream. This single would appear everywhere on the internet by it being associated with numerous memes, fully allowing it to accumulate over 178 million streams on Spotify and 47 million views on YouTube. In fact, the track performed so well that it peaked on the 80th spot on Billboard, as well as earning Ugly God his first RIAA platinum plaque. He then went on the XXL freshman list the following year, which was huge at the time. Then shortly after, he got signed to Asylum Records for about $1 million. Due to all the hype he was receiving, Ugly God even got to perform at music festivals like Somerset and Rolling Loud. By this point, it seemed as if Ugly God was going to become the next biggest name within the rap scene. But he soon realized that he can only ride the success of Water for so long, which is why he began to do other marketing stunts like dissing himself on the track Fuck Ugly God. This track did pretty decent, but it wasn't the big hit that he was hoping for. So he decided to lock in and go to the studio to start working on his debut project. The Booty tape released on August 4th, 2017 and contained a Wiz Khalifa feature, as well as landing on the 27th spot on the Billboard 200. Unfortunately, the project didn't get the same traction that Water did, causing even more of a worrisome for Ugly God's career. A major reason why this was the case was the fact that Ugly God lost a Ski Mask and XXXTentacion feature due to him having beef with X.
Okay, so originally Ski Mask the Slump God was supposed to be on the booty tape. What happened with that?
I guess label issues, clearing issues. Him and X were on the song.
What exactly happened with you and XXXTentacion?
We got into about some shit, and then you know, he was a real emotional kid, but me and him really just kind of went back and forth, and I was just like kind of picking at him and saying he was picking at me about some shit.
If Ugly God actually acquired these features, it would have guaranteed the future success of his career, potentially having the track be as big if not bigger than Water. Following this incident, people began wondering if Ugly God is only going to be recognized as a one-hit wonder or remain within the rap scene by making another hit. And with the position where Ugly God was at the time, it was still possible for him to drop another hit, evolving his career even more. Surprisingly though, Ugly God did the exact opposite and went into hiding instead of trying to capitalize on his career once more. Throughout 2018, Ugly God seemingly disappeared, with the only times where he was active was him featuring a Lil Yachty song, Boom, and dropping a 4-track EP called Just a Little Something before the album. He wouldn't make any public appearances or do any interviews and kept to himself for the rest of that year. Ugly God would actually explain why he disappeared by saying how after XXL, he didn't know how to handle all the new fans he was getting.
Before XXL, my fan base was growing so like steadily and organically. And then like just looking at my numbers, which I fucking hate going by numbers, but sometimes it matters, and like going by numbers and like as far as my followers and like my analytics and stuff, as soon as XXL happened, that shit shot the fuck up.
I bet.
I feel like I didn't get my core fan base where I wanted it to before, you know, that.
What only made things worse was the fact that Ugly God was dealing with stuff in his personal life, making him not want to be as active as he used to be anymore. He'd state in an interview where he says, "I was super depressed for a whole year and nobody even noticed. But it's okay. I shouldn't have to expect y'all to care about my personal life. I'm just here to be a good friend and deliver good music to y'all. Love y'all." Another major reason why he disappeared was due to the fact that people were not only classifying Ugly God as a meme rapper, but also as a mumble rapper. This only made it harder for people to be drawn towards his music since people couldn't take his career seriously, thus resulting in Ugly God wanting to add more substance behind his music. Which is why he took to his Snapchat story to explain, "While my joke around songs are fun to make and turn up to, I'm creating no kind of substance or mark. I just want to bring to light that I am versatile. But I have been scared to show my versatility for all this time because I didn't get into the position I am in, not because of my versatility." Ugly God realized that he wasn't satisfied with his career and wanted to portray his versatility within his craft by adding more substance and meaning behind his songs rather than just making a fun, upbeat track. He'd seemingly elaborate on this realization by saying, "I just feel like I'm on the edge of permanently being taken as a joke, and that would be the downfall of my career." This was a drastic change in Ugly God's career since everyone knew him for being hilarious and positive. However, when Ugly God dropped his next two singles, Hello featuring Lil Pump and Lost in the Sauce, fans immediately noticed that they weren't meaningful like how he elaborated earlier. On top of this, his next project, Bumps and Bruises, was a drastic decline amongst most fans. Even though it peaked at the 46th spot on Billboard and sold 14,000 first week, it was overall a flop due to how big he was. Not only this, the project would even get a 3.5 rating on Pitchfork, with the headline saying, "The meme rapper's debut album confirms everyone's suspicions about the relationship between viral hip-hop fame and rapping abilities," truly depicting how the virality that came along with Ugly God's career was the exact reason for his demise. This is because he wanted to stray away from the memes and become more of a real rapper. So as time kept progressing, people started to care less about his music. Due to all the hate he was receiving and his album flopping, Ugly God returned to his hiatus. While in hiding, Ugly God just wanted to focus on his own private life. Sometime while he was off the internet, he had a kid that became the center of his life. Ugly God seemed to be living his best life and started to do music again to be a supportive father for his kid. His new music finally sounded more mature and substantial, like how he promised earlier within his career. Ugly God would also reveal that he's doing good for himself financially by posting a screenshot showing he acquired 24.7 million streams throughout 2021, which equates to around $100,000. Keep in mind, this is just for Spotify, so he could be earning much more with the additional revenue coming from the other streaming services, which is amazing for himself since he's able to support him and his family financially. Nevertheless, Ugly God still couldn't progress further in his career since none of his new music could keep up with his previous work. Luckily, his old music was still gaining millions upon millions of streams, earning him money. Although this shouldn't be an issue for him, Ugly God seemed to be annoyed at the situation. This is because he'd take to an Instagram live declaring that the game is all about who's popular and not real music.
You know, this rap shit just like high school, you feel me, bro? Niggas want to be around, you know, who the coolest niggas, who the hottest, who around, who all in the scene and shit. Y'all know that's just not me.
By saying how he's not the hottest rapper within the scene, it only made it look like he was annoyed at people not taking another chance with his music, in which every rapper has a short period of time to capitalize on their own success. If you don't, it's only going to be harder to get to where you once were. That's just how the game works, and every artist complies with this. Complaining and fighting against this concept is only going to have people stray away from you even more. In hopes to revive his career, in 2023, Ugly God dropped a 2-track EP titled Two Piece that contained a Lil Yachty feature. Oddly enough, this EP was only available on SoundCloud and no other streaming services. Sadly, this didn't stop Yachty along with his team to take down that song with his feature. Ugly God became agitated by this and took to Twitter telling everyone that Yachty's song got taken down, but that's just how the industry goes. Then went on to say, "I'm not blaming him for actually reporting it himself, but it was an automatic takedown and indeed got reported directly from the label. I'm independent." From here, Ugly God stood true to himself and began teasing his next project, Floatery, by showing possible versions of the album artwork. Unfortunately, any chances of this album dropping instantly diminished when it came out that Ugly God has been accused of using Nerf darts on his best friend's father. See, what happened was that in June 2023, police reports surfaced on the internet that said a 50-year-old man unfortunately was put to sleep, with the suspect being immediately arrested. It quickly came out that Ugly God was the suspect involved and the man was his best friend's father. This shocked the entire internet since someone who they all knew for being funny and upbeat was instead a dark and twisted individual. Ugly God would defend himself from being ridiculed everywhere online by declaring that it was self-defense and that the victim was threatening his mom. This claim swiftly got shot down by eyewitnesses who stated that Ugly God allegedly lured the man back to his house since his 11-year-old son was in jeopardy. Ugly God supposedly used 4 Nerf darts on him. Ugly God would respond to this in a weird fashion by posting a picture of himself holding a lot of money with the caption reading, "A lot can happen in a year. Hashtag don't believe the hype." Subsequently, Ugly God did what he does best and went off the grid once again. After this situation was brought into light, everyone sided against Ugly God due to the evidence surrounding the scenario, overall having many to believe that he crashed out and fully destroyed his career. In the modern day, Ugly God has completely ruined any hope of resurrecting his career to where it once was, as he threw his life away due to major charges that were against him. But even when Ugly God had moments where he could regain his successful career, he decided to instead go into hiding and slowly fade away from the spotlight. His most recent tweet reveals that he has 3 albums ready to go, but since he's not signed to a label, he doesn't know if he should drop them. But he knows that if he does drop them, no one's gonna care. Ultimately revealing that Ugly God will forever only be remembered as the guy who made that one popular meme song. But unlike Ugly God, the next meme rapper capitalized on their careers in the worst way possible. Originating from Palm Beach, Florida, Frankie and Alex Venegas, otherwise known as the Island Boys, grew up listening to Kodak Black, which influenced them to eagerly want to pursue a rap career. After being released from jail, the two began following their passion for rap by going under the monikers Flyysoulja and Kodiyakredd. The two would drop their first official track together on their SoundCloud called Play With Me in 2019. Over the next few years, the two would focus on growing their careers by promoting themselves on social media sites like YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. But it was TikTok where the boys were able to meet the success they always wanted. In late 2021, the Island Boys took the internet by storm with this famous freestyle.
I'ma just island boy, I'ma just island boy, I'ma get kiwagwai.
This short freestyle instantly became viral. Although this video was so people could take their rapping seriously, due to the appearance of their dreads, chains, and tattoos, people began taking them as a meme, ultimately allowing the entire internet to quickly find out who they were. The two finally achieved their long life dream of becoming rappers with everyone's eyes being set on them. In fact, due to the virality of the TikTok, it led to many dubbing the duo as the Island Boys, making them even more recognizable. Even though they became an internet sensation overnight, there was one thing that everyone mutually agreed with. The Island Boys' famous freestyle was garbage, by some people declaring, "Don't let the hater stop you, stop yourself." This is the worst song in history. This song hits hard at 0 volume. See, people didn't actually mess with the Island Boys, but instead were laughing at how horrible their music was. Nevertheless, the two didn't let the hate get to them since they were already receiving clout and money. In fact, they would even capitalize on the hate by continuously uploading and flexing their earnings. They eventually racked up millions upon millions of TikTok followers, as well as over 309,000 YouTube subscribers, in which they reportedly made about $80,000 from their YouTube channel. From this point, it seemed as if the two were going to have an extremely successful career. By gaining millions of dollars and being recognized by numerous others, money was going to be the least of their problems. There was a hole within their plan, and that was all the attention they were receiving was only going to bring in temporary success. For starters, they can't maintain a loyal following since they mainly blew up from the Island Boy viral video, which was mainly looked at as a joke. Alongside this, many were waiting for an official release of the song that the boys promised to provide. But instead of maximizing the potential to reach new heights, they instead decided to wait 2 months to drop the track and wait an extra month to release the music video. By the time all this dropped, their fame was already beginning to deteriorate, meaning any chances of them retaining their careers began diminishing. In an attempt to regain their clout, they eventually started to do live performances, but it failed since obviously no one showed up. What's even more embarrassing is when trying to get people to sing along with them, the entire crowd was silent.
And I'm just trying to make it on my island, but I put my vest down, yeah.
Not only they were losing their relevance, the Island Boys were also making poor decisions, beginning with the fact that they turned down a record deal from their biggest inspiration, Kodiyakredd, in hopes to remain independent artists. Although this was a smart move for the short run, in the long run, they ruined their chances of being advised by a well-known rapper, in which it could have changed the course of their careers. To make matters worse, the Island Boys were making tremendously terrible financial decisions by purchasing expensive cars, chains, and watches. Instead of investing the money they earned from the hype of the Island Boy freestyle, they decided to waste it all and become broke. On top of this, as we all know, the internet is a very fast place where many internet sensations are sometimes left in the dust due to the public being obsessed with something else. Which is a scenario that the Island Boys were slowly starting to encounter. As the two were starting to become known for their 15 seconds of fame, their public image began rupturing when Kodiyakredd from the Island Boys got arrested for domestic abuse, as well as the two getting into conflict with Snoop Dogg, Blueface, and Logan Paul. So by them slowly fading away from existence and having numerous individuals hate on them, it seemed like their careers on the internet were over, marking the beginning of the end of the Island Boys' careers. Or that's what we thought. Even though the two were at the lowest point within their careers, they still had an idea to regain the spotlight once more. On July 5th, 2023, the Island Boys regained their relevance by announcing something no one expected, which was the fact they were starting an OnlyFans. See, they had an idea to share explicit content for people to buy just so they become financially stable, in which it's estimated they made around $1 million before their page was mysteriously taken down. Since the subscription they were charging was about $25 per month and had around 128,000 subs. Now, the Island Boys were doing well financially, but it didn't prevent their drive for wanting attention. Although their OF page had some articles written about it, the attention wasn't enough compared to the virality they once had. They seemingly became consumed by the traction they had after they dropped the Island Boy TikTok, and they wanted to feel like they were on top of the world again. However, in order for them to reach that level of clout, they needed to perform an act that was truly unthinkable. In June 2023, the Island Boys posted a tweet where they were depicted kissing each other with the caption promoting their OnlyFans. This instantly shocked the entire world due to the fact that these two are brothers, leading this situation to instantly become shared across the entire internet, resulting in many being disgusted towards their incestuous acts. Even having fellow Florida producer DJ Scheme to speak against the Island Boys by posting on an Instagram story saying, "Florida does not claim the Island Boys." This type of reaction from the absurdness of their actions is what the Island Boys were expecting from everyone, in which they clarified why they did this on Adam 22's podcast.
We started off by just showing us like with their underwear on Twitter. People were like, it was almost like they're like, you guys won't kiss. And I thought about it like for a couple days and I'm like, wait, that'd be a good idea. Like something to talk about because people really don't like us. So like, hey, look, we got something on them. They kissed each other. So we kind of knew it would go viral.
Clearly, according to them, making everyone feel uncomfortable was the best way to regain their relevance. which is why they would only double down on the situation by posting multiple videos portraying the brothers' love for one another. In fact, even one of the island boys, Flyysoulja, came out as gay after all these events, which makes their brotherly love even more jarring. Their antics would get even more ridiculous when they got into an altercation with Flyysoulja on stream and one of the brothers flashing themselves on Aiden Ross's stream. Obviously, from all these crazy stunts occurring, it became noticeable that the approach of rebuilding their hype was through shock content. After all, the two were desperately seeking attention and really wanted to remain relevant. On top of this, by gaining a massive amount of attention, it only led to people purchasing more subscriptions to their OnlyFans. To which those who did buy a subscription were met with more daring content of the two playing with each other. During this time, it seemed like the brothers got what they wanted and were being talked upon everywhere online. However, they soon began to realize that there are morals to publicizing yourself when trying to be on top of the scene once more. This can be seen by the boys denying all their strange actions with each other.
There's no proof of us kissing on Twitter. There's no proof of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whether or not they are being sarcastic within this clip, it's still evident they were uncomfortable of reaching fame through this way, by many pointing out that they seemed awkward doing these stunts and that it looked forced. Adding on to this, by them doing these activities, it really strays away from the image they were trying to portray from the start of their careers, ultimately revealing that the island boys are willing to break their own morals just to remain a posit. Now in the modern day, the island boys had faded back into the abyss once more, with one of the boys even getting arrested earlier this year, but no one cared. They further pushed themselves down when appearing on Jack Doherty's stream, a kick streamer whom many dislike. So being seen with the streamer only results in people scrutinizing the island boys even more. When looking at their Spotify, the two barely dropped any music, with them doing horrible numbers. Although on YouTube they are still doing decent, their potential to grow has dissipated. If only they didn't force themselves to stay as the center of attention and focused on maintaining their profession, maybe they could have had successful careers. Truly revealing that if they ever make another return, they need to stop being so desperate for public recognition. As we can see throughout each one of these situations, each meme rapper couldn't capitalize on their success. There was a point in time where they each became an internet sensation overnight. Unfortunately, they all eventually fell off due to them making poor decisions that brought their career's demise. Fully disclosing that, if you're an up and coming artist, just be yourself and have your full focus on your career.